Our next speaker is coming from the US. She is absolutely a powerhouse. She has been on our summit before. Her name is Carol Kaemmerer. She's an executive branding coach, professional speaker, author. She's one of 6 top personal branding experts to watch in the US. She's all about helping C-suite execs grow their brand. She is recognized by the American Reporter as one of these top 6 experts, and she's all about helping people build their personal brands in the online space. And I'm all about that. So she has decades of experience on being able to help others do that.
July 2011, my business world fell apart. You see, I've been working for 20 years as a marketing communications consultant to a Fortune 500 company, and I loved that work. But when I hadn't heard from my clients for a while after the new fiscal year, I decided to just check in. Called the first client. The recording I got was, "The person you have reached is no longer an employee of the company." Click. With clients 2, 3, and 4, I began to think, I know they've moved the whole department to a new building and they haven't gotten the phones all connected again. So my next call was to the vice president. I said, "Hey, congratulations on the new fiscal year. I haven't heard from any of my clients, and I was wondering, are you moving the people from one place to another? I'm getting messages that they no longer work with the company." "Oh," he said. "Didn't anybody tell you?" Well, you see, the company has had some financial issues, and we addressed them by outsourcing whole functional areas, including marketing communications. And that means that we're doing all of our work going forward through a retained arrangement with an agency. And we won't be using your services again. Oh. Dead in the water. Today, I'm working with senior level executives on their personal brand online. I develop powerful LinkedIn profiles so that they can attract their top talent. They impress their prospective customers, and they tee up those business conversations without any effort at all. In 2022, the American Reporter named me one of the top 6 personal branding experts. In 2021, my book, LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive, Promote Your Brand with Authenticity, Tact, and Power, was published in its 2nd edition. Book Authority named it one of the best LinkedIn books of all time. The C-Suite Network named it one of the top 100 best business books. And the International Book Awards Program awarded it gold in 2 categories. I love what I do. I love the challenge. So how did I get from that low point to the high point? What is the grit to grace story? As I think about it, there are 3 principles that I used to move from where I was to where I am. So the very first one is to know your strengths and own them. So my strengths are attentive listening, the ability to translate into powerful text, the ability to tell a story of something very complex and make it understandable, and my love of something new. Those things were things that I did for the company. Those are things that I do today in my role as speaker, author, and executive coach. So know your skills. Know what brings you joy, what makes it worth getting up in the morning, and build your next chapter around that. Life is too short to do the things that we don't like to do. Number 2, take a first step. When we're stuck, nothing moves forward unless we do. For some people, like in the IT area, their next step may be getting a new certification. For me, I knew my first step had to be understanding LinkedIn because I had neither a network nor any recognition of what I could do in the marketplace. I needed to build both, and I knew LinkedIn would do that for me. So my next step was to study LinkedIn as a subject matter. I dug deep into it, understanding how it works under the hood so that I could bring my very best writing skills, combining with my understanding of how to use the network to make it powerful for me. Along the way, I reached to the people that had hired me all those years, and I shared with them what I had learned. And they were so impressed that they began to send me their friends to be my clients. Well, wait a minute. That wasn't even what I was looking for. But principle 3 is use kaleidoscope thinking. How do your same skills translate into other areas, other venues? How can you use the things that you love in new ways? So the kaleidoscope is an analogy. Those little pieces in there, they're like your skills and experiences. If you've been doing the same job for a long time, the picture that you see may be very beautiful, but it's static. Someone comes along and jostles that kaleidoscope, and oh, the pieces fall into place in new ways. It may be an even more beautiful picture than the one you've been staring at for a long time. So instead of sticking with my plan, which was to find a corporate job someplace, I looked around at the job that was looking for me, embraced it, and began to build around that. So that's my Grit to Great story. I hope that these 3 principles, understanding your goals, your skills that you'd love to use. Number 2, taking that first step, whatever it is. And then 3, using kaleidoscope thinking can help you move from grit to grace as well. My very best to you.
Oh gosh, I love that whole word, and I'm going to bring Carol on now, actually, because she's been able to jump on as well today. So Carol, just to be able to talk about kaleidoscope thinking is such a great concept, isn't it? Because if we don't have these moments, these challenging moments that just bring us to, just a massive halt and go, but my life was so great. How could this happen? How could this be? And when we get shattered, and it's going to have tears, and it's going to have fear, and it's going to just unravel us. I'm just going to assume that happens to everybody, right? It would to me. I'm sure it did to you. And then suddenly go, okay, well, I'm going to have to dig deep, level up. And I love the way you did that. And you just become a LinkedIn expert. And then to have those develop these skills that you had and new skills that you developed, and then have this situation that those other people now suddenly go, wow, I need you for this whole new reason, because you've actually, and that moment then morphed you into this stage that you would never have been there. You would never have been ahead of the curve on LinkedIn should this not happened. So I'd love you just to say hello to everybody live, and to share one more minute on that, because I just know that those people listening in, there's going to be so many of us who've had those moments. You might even be at one of those moments at the moment going, because of COVID, the security I had is gone. And I'm down about that. I'm depressed about that. I'm anxious about that. I don't know what my next step is. And Carol's presentation is that, all right, it's time for a reinvention. That's what I heard from your presentation. Is that right, Carol? It's a time to reset and reinvent.
You know, the people that I attract to my practice are people that often are looking for change for whatever reason. And often they don't know exactly which direction to go, and we just explore. The notion of understanding your skills and understanding what gives you joy among the things that you have been doing. It was interesting, as part of my healing from job loss, I created a list of the things that I absolutely loved, that I had been doing. And then I created a list of the things that I didn't love, which kind of put it into perspective. You know, when we lose something, it's the most wonderful thing in the world. And oh my gosh, we are bereft because we've lost it. But if you have enough distance to say, well, there were these aspects that were not a fit, that rankled, that were irritating, it helps you to move beyond that. Oh my gosh, you know, I've been stricken for life. You can move on then. And so really understanding what makes you sing in the morning when you get up, and what didn't contribute, and how do we make our next chapter even better than our last.